much work you are completing. Okay. For example, I'm having 10 chocolates. I can eat only 2 chocolates in a day. I cannot eat more than 2. Okay. So I can eat only 2 chocolates in one day. So my efficiency is 2 chocolates per day. And it is considered you can eat only 1 chocolate in one day. 1 chocolate in one day. So your efficiency is 1 chocolate per day. 1 chocolate per day. So efficiency is nothing but always 1 day work or 1 minute work or 1 second work. Okay. And if you want to units, the time will be in hours or minutes or seconds. Okay. And the work will be in the form of units. Like I'm having total 30 units of work to complete, 20 units of work to complete, or 50 units of work to complete, like that, work in units. And efficiency is nothing but units per hour, always per hour or per day. The time will be in days also. Okay, per hour or per day or per second or per minute. Okay, so ma'am, what type of questions they may ask, ma'am? So the questions they will ask like in this format: A can complete the work in 10 days. B, the person B can complete the same work in 20 days. Okay. There's a person C who can complete the work in 30 days. Now question they may ask that A plus B plus C can complete the work in how many days? A plus B plus C can complete the work in how many days? So whenever you have these type of questions, we have two methods to solve the question in time and work. One is LCM method and one is fraction method. Okay. Ma'am, what is difference between LCM method and fraction method, ma'am? The process is same, but only one thing that is different. In LCM method, we will consider total work as LCM of times. In LCM method, we will consider the total work as LCM of times. By coming to fraction method, we will consider total work as 1. Ma'am, why we are considering total work 1, ma'am, in fraction method? Because fraction method, value or maximum value is equals to 1. Largest value or maximum value is equals to 1. So that's why we will consider in fractions total work is equals to 1. While in LCM method, we will consider total work is equals to LCM of times. Okay. And I prefer you to follow only LCM method because fraction method, solving fractions will take some extra time. Fractions, solving the points of fractions will take some extra time. So better go with LCM method. Okay. And what is the methodology to solve the question, ma'am? Okay. Now how to solve the question, ma'am? Now I will use LCM method to solve the question. Okay. In LCM method, my total work equals to LCM of times. Nothing but LCM of whatever time they given. How many times they given? 20 and 30. If they given one more term also, consider one more term. Okay. So what is the LCM of 10, 20 and 30? LCM is nothing but least common multiple. Least common multiple. So the number should be multiple of 10, 20 and 30. So what is the number? Obviously 60. 60. So it is total work and it is days. It is days. Now, if you remember, I told the relation between time, work and efficiency. Ma'am, what is the relation, ma'am? Let us consider first time and work. Time and work. Okay. If you have more time, you can do more work. If you have less time, you can do less work. Yes. Or if you have more work, it will take more time to complete. If you have less work, it will take less time to complete. Nothing but the time and work are directly proportional. Directly proportional. Well, come to time and efficiency. Time and efficiency. Now, if you are more efficient, for example, I can eat 2 chocolates, you can eat 1 chocolate. If we both combine, it is 3 chocolates per day. Yes. So, if your efficiency is more, then it will take less time to complete. If your efficiency is less, it will take more time to complete. Nothing but efficiency and time are inversely proportional. Inversely proportional. So if you combine these two, time is directly proportional to work. So if you combine these two, time directly proportional to work. So time is equals to work and time is inversely proportional to efficiency. Time is equals to efficiency. So time is directly proportional to work by efficiency. Inversely proportional to efficiency. So directly work, inversely efficiency. So the relation is time is equals to work by efficiency. The same thing we can write as work is equals to efficiency into time. Okay, it is one formula when they're asking work. When they're asking time, time is equals to work by efficiency of that person. Yes. Now, when they ask efficiency, efficiency is equals to work by time taken by the person. These three are the formulas for the time. Yes. Now, in this question, what they're asking? They ask the time taken by A, B, and C combinedly. Time taken by A, B, and C combinedly. So, time taken by A, B, and C is equals to total work by efficiency of A, B, and C. Yes. So, to find this efficiency of A, B, and C, we want individual efficiency of A, B, and C. Ma'am, how to find the individual efficiency of A, B, and C, ma'am? We have the total work 60. Yes, and we have time. That means we can find efficiency. So what is the efficiency of A? 60 by 10, which is equals to 6 units per day. What is efficiency of B? 60 by 20, which is equals to 3 units per day. What is efficiency of C? 60 by 30, which is equals to 3 units per, sorry, 2 units per day. So now A, B, and C combinedly means what is the combined efficiency of A, B, and C, which is equals to 11. So now they're asking time. So time is equals to work 60 by efficiency 11, which is equals to 6, 11 5s are 55 and a reminder 5 by 11. So the answer is 5 by 11 days. Clear? So this is the only method to follow each and every question. And remember, in time and work, whatever the question, finding this efficiency is common in each and every question. Finding this total work and finding the efficiency is common for each and every question. After this, whatever they're asking, based on that, we have to solve the question. Okay, clear? Yes, it is the only main concept of time and work. Yes, in fraction method means you have to consider here 1. In the place of 60, you have to consider 1. So 1 by 10, 1 by 20, 1 by 30. Now A plus B plus C means 1 by 10 plus 1 by 20 plus 1 by 30. After solving, you will get some answer. Now, time is equals to again work 1 by efficiency. With the way you will get the answer. Clear? It is the only method of time and work. If you know these relations, it is fine. Okay. Please solve some practice questions on time and work. Still, if you are facing any problem regarding any problem, ma'am, how come 11? Okay, yes. How come 11 is nothing but asking A, B, and C combinedly. So nothing but efficiency will be added. Yes or no? Time will not be added. Efficiencies will be added. For example, if we both are working together, my efficiency plus your efficiency is equal to our combined efficiency. Yes or no? In the same way, they're asking A plus B plus C efficiency, nothing but A efficiency plus B efficiency plus C efficiency. So 6 plus 3, 9, 9 plus 2, 11. That's how it is 11. Okay? Is it clear, Rishikesh? Yes. So solve some questions on time and work. Still, if you are facing any problem regarding time and work questions, and if you are facing any particular question, if you are facing problem, please post that question in the Telegram group or WhatsApp. Okay, fine. Shall we start our today's session? Yes. So it is common for today's session because you know that Capgemini pattern is you are having 16 quant questions and 16 logical questions. In the same way, we will discuss 16 quant and 16 logical questions if you are having any doubt. And one more thing, if you're having any doubt, okay, and if you don't want to disturb in between, please note down the question number. Okay, I will explain you. I will clear your doubts at the end of the session. Okay, if you're having any problem regarding one question, please note down the question number, either quant or logical. I will explain you at the end of the session. Okay, fine. Is it fine, everything? Yes. Shall we start the session today? Yes. And the same pattern will follow that for each and every question. I will give you some time to solve the question, 1 or 2 minutes based on the question. And please try to solve the question in that particular time, because whenever I'm explaining, it is very easy for you to understand where you done the mistake. Okay. So please solve the question. Fine. Shall we start? Okay. Try to solve the first question. Yes. Thank you. Try to solve the first question and post the answers fast. Try to solve this question and post the answers fast. Try to solve the question and post the answers fast. Very good, Kunal. But once try again, Kunal. Atul Raj, correct. Okay, so I'm giving just one clue for you. Just try once. This is a clue you can follow. Okay. So Sharon decided to drive through the city, and on the first day, she drove for only 7 miles. On the last day, she drove for 51 miles, increasing her journey 4 miles each day. How far did she travel? Okay, so there is a person Sharon, okay, and the person decided to drive to the city, okay, and on the first day she drove only 7 miles, okay, and last they didn't mention that on last day means which day it is. They mention that last day, okay, so last day it is 51 miles. And what is the condition here? Every day she is increasing her journey by 4 miles every day. So it's very simple arithmetic progression, right? So first day it is 7 miles. Okay, 1 minute. First day 7 miles. And second day didn't mention, they mentioned last day. I don't know which day it is, but it is last. Okay. Last day how many miles? 51 miles. And they given that every day it is +4 +4. Nothing but the difference is +4 +4. Yes or no? Yes. Now how to solve this question? Okay. So one thing is we can find sum easily. We can find sum easily. What is sum of the terms formula? N by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into t. Okay. We know the formula for arithmetic progression, but we require this n. We require this n. How we can get n? By using the nth term formula. So we know the formula for nth term, that is nth term is equals to a plus n minus 1 into d. So we know the nth term. What is the nth term? 51 is equals to a. What is a? 7 plus n minus 1 into d. What is n? We don't know. Minus 1 into what is difference? 4. So 51 minus 7. What is 51 minus 7? Normally 50 minus 7 is 43. So 51 minus 7 is 44. So 44 is equals to n minus 1 into 4. So if you observe here, n minus 1 is equals to 11 and n is equals to 12. Nothing but the last day is 12th day. Totally how many days she traveled? 12. 12 days. So if you observe the options, obviously option B and option C got eliminated. Now we have two options, option A and option D. Yes. Now we have to find the, now they're asking how much distance she traveled. But combination of all the things. So sum of the observations in AP. So what is the formula for sum of the observations? N by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So what is n? 12 by 2 into 2a. 2 into 7 plus n. 12 minus 1 into d. 4. So just simplify. 12 by 2, 6. 7 2 is 14. Plus 12 minus 1, 11. 11 4s are 44. So which will be equals to 6 into 58. So 6 into 58, 6 8s are 48, 6 5s are 30, 348. So what is the answer? Option D. So option A is wrong. So 6 into 58 will be equals to 340. Clear? The question they given in the question format, but it is very easy question, simple arithmetic progression. That's all. So remember these two formulas are very important for arithmetic progression. And if you observe also, each and every day I'm discussing at least one question from arithmetic progression. That means this topic arithmetic progression is very important for caption. Okay. So in arithmetic progression, please remember nth term is equals to a plus n minus 1 into d, and some other terms is equals to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Clear? And this maybe you may get one question from arithmetic progression. So please pay attention that arithmetic progression is very important for caption. Okay. Yes. Shall I move to the next question? Are you clear with this question, everyone? Okay. Try to solve this question. It is very easy question, but it's very confusing. Once you read the question, you may not get the idea how to solve this question, but it's a very easy question. Just solve the question fast. Try to solve the question and post the answer fast. Very good, Shruti. Very good. Very good. Super. Very amazing, guy. So what is the question given? How many two-digit numbers leaving the remainder 3 when divided by 10? Okay. So it's very simple question. So they're asking a two-digit number. Okay. I don't know how many two-digit numbers are there. X and Y. Like this two-digit numbers. How many are there? Leaves the remainder 3 when divided by 10. Now listen. When divided by 10. So divided by 10, leaving remainder 3 means obviously the number should end with 3. That's all. The number last position is 3. That's all. Yes or no? Because what is the number ending with 3? Will give remainder 3 when divided by 10. So what are the numbers ending with 3? We'll have 13, 23. Can I add 3? No. 3 is not a two-digit number. So eliminated. 13, 23, 33, 43. 53, 63, 73, 83 and 90. So how many numbers are there? We are having 9 numbers. Okay. Clear? So how many two-digit numbers are there? Leaving the remainder 3 when divided by 10 means it is 13, 23, 9 numbers are there. Now you may have doubt that, ma'am, in the case of 9, if we have 9. So in the case of 10, if we have 9. If we have 9. So when you will get remainder 3 when divided with 9? In which cases you will have? Like it's completely repeated, right? For example, first 3. Okay. Next 9 ones 9. 9 plus 3. 11. Yes. Sorry, 9 plus 3. 12. Here also you will get remainder 3. So it will repeat. But if you have 10, it is very easy. But if you have any other number, means you have to keep on counting the how many numbers are there, whether they are following any pattern or not. Okay. Yes. Very good. Next. Try to solve the next one fast. Which question, Anuj? The previous question. Previous question is very simple. How many two-digit numbers are there? Leaves remainder 3 when divided by 10. Voice was not clear. Okay. So they are asking when divided by 10. So divided by 10 means divided by 10 and remainder 3 means obviously the number should end with 3. Obviously the number should end with 3. Yes. So how many numbers are there which are ending with 3? Two-digit numbers they are asking. So 13, 23, 33, 43, 53, 63, 73, 88 and 93. So what is the answer? 9 numbers. If you have any other number in place of 10, you should keep on counting, like which will use a reminder 3. But if it is 10, it is very easy to solve the question. Okay. Try to solve the question. Next one. Try to solve this question and post the answers fast. B, B, C. Okay, again two answers. Why two answers? B. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the question again from arithmetic progression. In arithmetic progression consists of 7 terms. Find the ratio of the sum of odd terms to sum of even terms they're asking. Okay. So arithmetic progression is nothing but whenever you have a common difference, it is an arithmetic progression. Common difference. Then we can tell a number, I mean the progression as a series as arithmetic progression. So common difference is it can be x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, x plus 4, next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms, x plus 6 and x plus 7. There is no rule that you have to take in this format. You can also take that format like x minus 1, x minus 2, x minus 3, and in the same way x plus 1, x plus 2 and x plus 3. You can take any way. You can take any way. Anyway, you will get the same answer. Okay. So let us solve the first one. They're asking some of the odd terms or some of the even terms they're asking. So odd terms, first one, second one, third term, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So sum of odd terms, x plus 2 plus x plus 3, sorry, x plus 4 plus x plus 1 minute. Here I missed here. 5, it is 6. Sorry. So plus x plus 6. So what is the sum of odd terms? It is x odd terms. So what is sum of odd terms? X plus x plus x, 4x plus 6 plus 4, 10, 10 plus 2, 12. Okay. Now, what about the sum of even terms? Even. So what is sum of even terms? X plus 1 plus x plus 3 plus x plus 5. Now what is the ratio here? It is 3x plus 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 1, 9. Now they're asking ratio between these two terms. So what is the ratio between these two terms? So 4x plus 12 is to 3x plus 9. So what is the ratio between these terms? So if you consider x is equals to 1, if you consider x is equals to 1, so what is the ratio now? 12 plus 4, 16 is to 9 plus 3, 12. So the ratio is 4 is to 3. So what is the answer? 4 is to 3. Because x value can be any value, but asking the ratio. So that's why I'm considering x value is 1. So where the ratio is 4 is to 3. X value can be 2. Then also you get the ratio as 4 is to 3. X value can be 3. Then also you get the ratio as 4 is to 3. Okay. So what is the answer? 16 is to 12, which is equals to 4 is to 3. Clear? Okay, I will repeat. Listen. So they're asking arithmetic progression. So arithmetic progression means with common difference. So it can be x plus 1, x plus 2, and so on, x plus 6, x plus 6. There is no rule that always plus 1. You can also take x plus 2, x plus 4, x plus 6, like that. But the common difference should be common. Now they're asking what is the ratio of sum of odd terms to sum of even terms. So if we consider odd terms, what are the odd terms we are having here? X is one odd term, x plus 2, x plus 4, and x plus 6. So what is the sum equals to? 4x plus 12. In the same way, even terms. What is even terms? X plus 1, x plus 3, and x plus 5. Where sum is equals to 3x plus 9. Now they're asking ratio between these two. Ratio between these two means 4x plus 12 is to 3x plus 9. Now they're asking ratio. Now if you want to find the ratio, here x is some value which I don't know. So the asking ratio means x value can be anything. So I'm considering x value is equals to 1. So where you will get here 16 and 12. 16 is to 12 means 4 is to 3. 4 is to 3. Clear? Yes. You can also consider x value as 10. Okay, there is no problem regarding the x value. To find the ratio, here x value I don't know, so I'm considering as 1. Okay. So terms sharing the same terms that share same common difference throughout the series are said to be arithmetic progression. Like x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 and so on. Okay. Try to solve the next one fast and post the answers in the chat box. Try to solve the next question. Yes, very good. So if we solve only one term only, we can find the answer, right? Yes. So read the information given below and answer the question that follows. Okay. So what is the information given? Z of x comma y is equals to mod of x minus y. Okay. And p of x comma y is equals to minus z of x comma y. And q of x comma y is equals to mod of x plus y. And for x is equals to 2 and y is equals to minus 7, they're asking what are the respective values of z, p and q. Okay. So let us solve. First, let us solve z. So what is z? Which is equals to mod of x minus y. So what is the value of x? 2 minus y. That is nothing but minus of minus 7. So which is equals to mod of 2 plus 7. So what is 2 plus 7? 9. So mod 9. What is mod 9? Mod is nothing but, so whenever you have this mod, so mod of A is equals to A and mod of minus 3 is also equals to A. Okay. So now we have a formula mod of 9 which is equals to 9. So z value is equals to 9. Now P is equals to minus of z of x. That means minus 9. So P value is minus 9. Now Q. What is Q? It is mod of x plus y. Nothing but minus 2 plus minus 7, which is equals to mod of minus 5. So mod of minus 5 will be equals to 5. So what is the Q value? 5. So what is the answer? 9 minus 9, 5. Option A. Clear? Very easy, right? Just equations, right? Yes. Try to solve the next one fast. Try to solve this question and post the answer fast. Yes, I hope this question is very simple question on topic ratios. Yes. So they given that 50 kgs of alloy Z is mixed with 150 kgs of alloy X. Ma'am, what is alloy? Alloy is nothing but a mixture of two elements. Mixture of two metals is nothing but an alloy. So if I mix zinc and gold, alloy, zinc and lead, alloy. So there's an alloy jet. Okay, the quantity of alloy jet is 50 kgs. It is mixed with alloy X, where the amount is 150 kgs. Okay, these two are mixed. Now, if alloy jet has, in this alloy jet, I'm having two metals, which is one is lead and one is zinc. Okay, in the ratio 4:1. So it is 4 and it is 1. And alloy X has two metals, one is zinc and one is copper. One is copper. In the ratio 2:3. Now in the question they are asking in the amount of zinc in the new alloy. Now listen, new alloy is nothing but combination of this alloy Z and alloy X is results to new alloy. Nothing but new alloy zinc is nothing. New alloy zinc is equals to first alloy zinc plus second alloy zinc. Yes or no? So what is the quantity of first alloy zinc? First alloy zinc is ratio part 1 out of 50. So 1 by total 5 into 50 kgs plus in the second alloy, what is the ratio part of zinc? 2 parts out of total 5 parts into 150. So which will be equals to 10 plus it is 5 ones and 5 30s and 30 into 2 60. So 10 plus 60 is equals to 70 kgs. Clear? So new alloy is nothing but combination of two individual alloys. So new alloy zinc is also equals to combination of first alloy zinc plus second alloy zinc. So first alloy it is ratio part is 1 out of 5 into 50 and second alloy ratio part is 2 out of 5 into 50, 150. So what is the answer? 70. Clear? Yes. Okay. Try to solve the next one fast. So the same thing, even if x should be distributed in the ratio a is to b. First term is a by a plus b into x. Second term also b by a plus b into x. Okay, why I have taken 5 is nothing but listen. Whenever you are distributing ratio, part, for example, 50 is in the ratio 4:5. Sorry, 4:1. Okay, so if I want this fourth one, the ratio part 4 by total 5 into 50. Why this is there? Because total, what is the total ratio part? 5. Okay, and that 5 is equals to total amount 50 kgs. Now if I want 4, okay, how to solve? Just cross multiplication, right? 4 into 50 by 5. So the same thing they written as the ratio part, whatever they require, the ratio part by total ratio. What is total ratio? 4 plus 1, 5 into amount 50. Okay, is it clear, Vaishnavi? Yes. Anyone having doubt regarding this question? Are you clear with this question? Okay, try to solve the next one fast. Try to solve this question. Good, Monica. Very good, Rishikesh. Very good. Good. Prakash. Nice. Yes. Very good. So Amir is 27 years old and Akhil is 20 years old. So in this question, we are having two people. One is Amir and one is Akhil. Okay. And what is the age of Amir? Amir is 27 years old. And what is the age of Akhil? Akhil is 20 years old. Okay. Now, how long after will the ratios of the ages will be 5:4? Now, after how many years? Now they're asking how long after how many years the ratio will becomes 5:4. Okay. Now, for example, if Amir age is increased by 1 year, obviously Akhil also 1 year will be increased. In the same way, if Amir 2 years increased, Akhil also 2 years increased. So they're asking that X, how after how many years? So for Amir initially 27 years. So after X years, they ask this X. Now same X years will be increased by Akhil also. So 20 plus X. Where this ratio they're asking is which is equals to 5:4. So just simplify this equation. So 27 into 4, 7 4 is 28, 4 2 is 8 plus 2, 108 plus 4x is equals to 100 plus 5x. So if you subtract, x is equals to 8. So nothing but after 8 years, the ratio will be equals to 5:4. Clear? Because if your age is increased by 2 years, my age also will be increased by 2 years. So if Amir is x years, Akil also x years. So they're asking is x is equals to how much? So 27 plus x by 20 plus x is equals to 5:4. So where x is equals to 8 years. Clear with this? Very good. Solve the next one. Solve the next one and post the answers fast. Solve the question. Yes, good. Okay. So what is the question given? A dealer sold two types of vehicles last year, P and Q. So last year, a dealer sold two types of vehicles. One is P and one is Q. Okay. The revenue for the sale of each unit of car P is 22 lakhs. Okay. So the person, one dealer sold two cars, two types of vehicles, P and Q. Okay. And the revenue for the sale of P revenue is equals to 22 lakhs. 22 lakhs. And Q revenue is equals to 46 lakhs. Q revenue is equals to 46 lakhs. Now, if dealer sold twice as many units of cars Q as car P. So whenever it has as many as, okay. So whatever thing before this comma or full stop is yes. So if dealer sold thrice as many units of car Q as car P is nothing but car Q is equals to 3 times of car P. 3 times of car P. Nothing but car Q by car P is equals to 3:1. 3:1. That means if he sold 3 cars of car Q, he will sold only 1 car of car P. 1 car of car P. Okay. Now they're asking, and what was the dealer's average revenue per unit sold of these 2 cars last year? So they're asking average. So how to find average? We already discussed yesterday, day before yesterday, average is nothing but sum of the observations by number of observations. Yes. So what is the total revenue of car P? 22 into 1 plus about car Q 46 into 3 by total 4. So just simplify. So 26, 22 plus 46 into 3. 6 3s are 18 and 3 4s 12, which is equals to 138 by 2. So what is the sum will be equals to 160, sorry, by 4. So 160 by 4, which is equals to 40 lakhs. So they're asking average. So what is the average? 40 lakhs. Clear? So average is nothing but total sum by number of observations. So total, they given that car P and car Q ratio is 3:1. So car P is only 1 car Q is 3 cars. So revenue is 22 into 1 plus 46 into 3. Where you will get total revenue as 160 by total number of cars as 4. You may have doubt that, ma'am, it is ratio 3:1. Why you consider 3 and 1? You can consider 3x and 4x also. You will get the same answer. You can consider any value, but in the ratio 3:1, but you will get the same answer. Okay? Clear? So average is equal to sum of observations by number of observations. How come 4? Because total number of cars is nothing but P1 car. Average means sum by total. So total is nothing but we have P1 car and Q we are having 3 cars. So total how much? 4 cars. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. So try to solve the next one. Very good. Super. Super good. Yes, good. Now, before starting the topic on logarithms, I want to tell you some formula in logarithms. Okay. Please pay attention for some time. Yes. If you want, you can note down. Take a pen and paper and please note down these formulas because they will be useful for you. Okay. First, log A base A will be equals to 1. Nothing but log 2 base to 1, log 5 base by 1, log 6 base 6 1. So whatever thing log A base A is equals to 1. Now, if it is log A base B, different base, then it is log A by log. So whenever you have a log A base B, then the formula for it is log A by log. For example, if you have log 2 base 3, then you can write this term as log 2 by log 3. Log 3. Okay? Yes. Next, log A plus log B. Log A plus log B. It is log of A. Log of A. So log of AB means log A plus log B. Now, log A minus log B. Log A minus log B. It is log of A by B. Many people will get confused with these two things. It is log a by log b, but it is log of a by b. Okay. Yes. Now log of x power n can be written as n into log x. N into log x. Okay. Next, log x. Okay. Log x base a is equals to n. Okay. If you have log x base a is equals to n, then I can write x is equals to, when you are taking this log a to the other side, it will be equals to exponential. Here base will be equals to base, and what is the term here? It will go to the exponential. So log x base a will be equals to n, means I can write this as x is equals to a power n. X is equals to a power n. And anything I left over here? Yeah, maximum completed. Yes. So mostly you will see the problems in Capgemini. Mostly you will see the problems based on this notation. Okay, this formula and this last, and these three mostly, but remaining also important for you. Okay, fine, clear. Shall we start? Now let us see what the question given. Solve for a. They given log base 2a plus 10 is equals to 5. So they give a question like log of 2a plus 10 base 2 is equals to 5. Now I told you how to, I required a. To find this a, I need to move this log to the other side. So if you move this log to the other side, this log will be base, and what are the thing will be exponential. So you will get the 2a plus 10 is equals to 2 power 5. So what is 2 power 5? 32. Now just simplify this. 2a is equals to 32 minus 10, 22. So what is a is equals to 11. So what is the answer? 11. Clear? Yes. Yes. Try to solve the next one. So here they given that log x base a is equals to b, means characterize x is equals to a power b.